Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Andy Summers, and I'm so excited today to do a little bit of a frequently asked questions about the DNA stuff that we've been talking about the last 2 days. So if you're just catching this for the very first time, the last couple days I've been launching a couple videos. One has just been on how to get your DNA off of your ancestry.com stuff so that you can put it into Genetic Genie and then get your methylation panels, your MTHFR, and how your body actually detoxes. So that was the first video. The second one was going through and explaining this entire panel. Like, you see this and you're like, but what does it mean? I don't understand. So I just wanted to go through and cover a couple of the frequently asked questions that I've been getting about DNA, methylation, and some of the things that might be uh, tripping you up. So the first thing is, does it cost to use Genetic Genie? And the answer to that is no. It's absolutely free. So as long as you have your DNA from either ancestry.com or 23andMe. Now, I'll tell you, I have both Ancestry and 23andMe, and Ancestry is way easier to get access to your data. The 23andMe, it's like I had to download and wait a week, and it just didn't come as quickly as it did with Ancestry. And so I would highly recommend doing Ancestry instead of 23andMe, and then putting it into the system and using it that way. It's literally, it comes through your email, you download it, and then you actually have to re-upload it when you're doing your methylation and your detox panel. So each one you have to upload that DNA over and over again. So just make sure to label it, because I have so many clients who send me their DNA. It's like I have to put their names in there so that I can kind of sort through whose is whose. The next thing that I often, the questions that I get are, people see this, list, and they're like, oh my goodness, there's red on here, or there's yellow. Like, the green we feel really good with. We're like, yes, that's awesome. But then when we see the red and yellow, we think there's something broken with us. And I don't want you to think that just because you've got yellow or red on here, that means you're broken. This simply means that those pathways need extra support. And it actually helps me to feel like I'm laughing, because on mine, I'm a double carrier of the MAO-A gene, which means that I process emotions intensely. And if you know me, you know that this is so true. And so actually seeing this has given me it's actually given me permission to like be okay in that emotion. Cause sometimes I'm just like, why do I feel this so passionately or so intensely? And it's actually written into my DNA. And I love knowing that. And so don't think just because it's green or yellow or red that there's something broken with you. No, it actually can help explain like why you are certain ways. And I love that. And then the next question that I get is like, well, a lot of people are just like afraid. They're worried about the results, because another part that I did not talk about with the Genetic Genie is, and I'll cover one of these as well, is you can actually do one tab over and it will tell you like how your body interacts with medication. It will tell you some of the genes that you have. Now, I personally am a double carrier of factor V Leiden. That means that I'm at an 85% increased chance of having a blood clot, as opposed to like the normal human on the planet. And so this does not mean that I actually have to express that gene. And what I've done over the last 15 years since I've had a stroke is I've gotten really good at understanding how to support my body. I have lots of circulation things that I do. In fact, just today I posted a video on my Facebook and TikTok. I don't think I've posted on YouTube yet, but I will, on a couple of the different devices that I use to get my blood circulating. And so it's so important. Like, I think it's so exciting that we actually have access to this data. This, like, we have access to the inside manual, what's going on inside. And so instead of like just being like, I don't know what's going on and I just feel bad, it's like we now can know. And so don't be afraid of this. This is great information. Awareness really creates options. It doesn't need to create fear. So the next question that I have is like, do I need to fix everything that I see? And once again, I just want to remind you that when you look at these panels, this is good information and it explains maybe why we feel sluggish at times. For me personally, let's see, the VDR, I have two of those that are single genes, and I've always struggled with my vitamin D. When I go and get my labs done, even if they look normal, I know that I struggle with vitamin D. In fact, when I moved from San Diego all the way up to Utah, I had grown up 40 years in San Diego where the sun shines. I walk every single day, and I moved up to this northern hemisphere, and I really struggled emotionally because I process vitamin D differently. And I didn't realize for the first 6 months, I was like, why am I crying all the time? This was before I knew this information. And once I found that out, it's like I keep vitamin D in my fridge. I have a dropper of it. I also have pills that are like really intense if I know that I need more, and I'll take one once a week for a couple weeks to really boost that because my body processes vitamin D differently. That is great information and I love it. The next question that I get is like, should I start supplements right away? What should I start? And how do I get that started? And what I would say to this is now that we have your methylation panel and your detox panel, if you are feeling called to start, now I think in our American diet, 100%, we need to be taking vitamins. Most of us are vitamin deficient. And when we're vitamin and mineral deficient, that means that the systems in our body are going to struggle, just like our emotions struggle at times. If all of our systems that are using vitamins and minerals to keep us alive and like functioning, if they are depleted, then I always think of it as like our systems are fighting over who gets the actual nutrients, the vitamins and minerals to move us along. And so I love starting out with a small dose. And by far, if you follow me, you know my number one, and I'll link this below. My number one recommendation for vitamins and minerals would be a product called VMG Plus. Literally, these vitamins and minerals will stay in your body for 8 to 12 hours, which is much better than overloading them all at once with something. And then 2 hours later, they're gone. It's like you want to keep a consistent amount in your body so that you can really support. Um, Now, some people have told me and said that supplements make them feel worse. And this is why we really need these panels because based off of what some of these will say, will tell us if you need methylated vitamins or if you need to avoid methylated vitamins, if you need more of a vitamin or less of a vitamin. And so that's why it's so important that you get this done. And it also will show you like this gives you a full picture of your DNA and maybe you respond differently to stress. One thing for me that I had to really embrace and see, and you can see this from my methylation panel and also my detox panel, I process stress a little bit more intensely than other people. And so when I had a stroke, March 15th, 2012, one of the first things my doctor, my neurologist said to me after I was out of the woods and I wasn't like, they weren't freaking out anymore. He came a couple days later, sat down in the ICU with me and said, it's time for you to really like think about how you're managing your stress. Now, at the time I was like, how? Like, how do you like I have four like young kids, like how do you change like stress? I can't just like step out of life. And he wasn't telling me to step back and like disconnect from life. He was saying, learn how to manage it. And on this channel, if you are not following me and you're wanting to learn how to manage stress and really get to know your DNA, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love any of your stress tips in the comments below. But what I learned was I really needed to prioritize that. And so I found products, I found breath work, I found things that I could integrate into my life. I didn't have to take a step out of my life and back. I just had to learn how to implement some things that would really help with that. In fact, on this channel, if you search um, 478 breathing, that is an awesome exercise that really helps with stress. And then another thing that people will ask is, can this change over time? And the answer to that is yes, this can. I mean, obviously, your DNA stays the same, but you can actually adjust the results that you're getting over time. Um, and it's really fun. Genes respond to how you live. And I've learned that over the years as I've gone through and my own health journey, recovering from a stroke and some other things that it just because genes don't have to define us. We define our circumstances based off of how we're living. Now, some people feel like, I'm so far behind because I just didn't know all of this. And maybe you've been feeling low energy. You've been really struggling with hormones or things like that. And now that you're seeing this, it's like so much is explained. I've actually had so many messages. People will message me when they do this and they'll be like, everything makes sense now. Now I know why I've had low energy or things like that. And you just have to shift a couple things and support your body in the way that it's needing. And so I just want to say you're not late, you're right on time. And you really, going forward, use this as a guide, not a rule book. I want you to check in with your body. I want you to think about stress and your emotions and be okay with it. Like I said at the beginning, on my results, you can see I process emotions really intensely, which is one reason why I, I'm probably like people will, when they watch my YouTube videos, when they attend any event that I have, it's like, they're like, you're so exciting. And part of it is that's like my emotions come out very strong. And instead of seeing that red as a negative, I actually see it as a positive. This is something that I can use for my benefit. Same thing with just even knowing about my vitamin D and how I process that. That can be a positive. And so it's really, really awesome to have this information and to be able to really hone in what your body needs. And so this is a time to have a lot of gratitude, to feel empowered. And I want to invite you to continue to watch, check out my DNA playlist that I've got. Your body is very wise, and understanding it should feel supportive and not stressful. So go ahead and put any of your questions in the comments. You can download my DNA guide, which I have in the description below. Subscribe for more educational videos. I do all things health and wellness. If you are looking for business tips, because I'm also a business coach, you can go over to Summer School. And that is another YouTube channel that I have where I do all of my business tips over there. And I will see you in our next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.